Let's see what is going on here. Okay, YouTube, let's get it together. I got my Facebook together. Let me see something. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's see. Trying to get it together. I'm trying to stream from my Facebook and my Periscope real quick because I'm not trying to make this a long video. I got to tend to my babies. And this is okay. Okay. Anyway, I had someone contact me and wait a minute. Anyway, I had someone contact me in reference to a video I made. Of course, it was positivity, and I thank you for that. She asked me, she said, you know, yesterday you were talking about forgiveness and, you know, it's imperative and favorable in God's eyes to be a person of forgiving, a person where you're able to wholeheartedly forgive. And her question was, does God want us to forgive and still deal with people? And I'm going to say yes, but I'm also going to say no. This is my personal opinion, and I've had to do this just recently. What I mean by wholeheartedly forgiving the person or just wholeheartedly having, you know, forgiving heart, in my personal opinion, I believe that, you know, to answer your question, and I do appreciate when people reach out to me. Excuse me, it lets me know that people are watching and this and that. Well, this is what I've had to do just recently. Wait, excuse me. I had to say, you know what? I'll forgive this person and move on from it. I forgive this person and move on from this person. And see, anybody that knows me in real time. One of my nicknames is One Time, right? And I say that you got one time to like rub me the wrong way. You got one time to, you know, do something horrific to me. But I've learned to be, you know, very forgiving in that. But I've also learned too that I think for me, it was best for me just to, you know, have a conversation or sometimes not have a conversation or just go within myself, go within spirit and say, you know what, I'm going to be. I don't know who or what. Anyway, I'm going to be forgiving of that situation and I'm just not going to deal with that person. I don't believe that God wants you to, you know, keep on allowing people to have poor behavior towards you and saying that, okay, the Bible says I'm teaching you that you have to be forgiving and you have to be loving and love thy neighbor and treat thy neighbor as you want to be treated. I don't see anywhere where he says, you know, in your forgiveness, you still have to deal with that person. And I might not be explaining it right, but from my personal experience, I am not in this space, and I will not continue to allow people to continue with poor behavior. You know, um, the old saying, three strikes you're out. To be honest with you, I don't even let a person get to three strikes. I have, and just recently I had someone that I allowed to get to three strikes. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to forgive this situation, but I'm personally not going to have any dealings with that person. So that's what, to answer your question, that's what I personally feel about that. Just give me a minute. Like I said, I'm a Periscope and all that other stuff too. To worship you, to worship you, we live. To worship you, we live to worship. To worship you, we live. To worship you, we live to worship. No one can even come close to you. No other name is Earth. You are awesome. And who you are. But yes, yes, that's what I had to do. So that is my personal opinion. I don't think God would want us to continue to be used as a doormat or old rug or dust cloth. And I've learned the hard way too that people will only do what you allow them to do. So if you keep on allowing a person's bad behavior, they're going to think that they can keep doing it. Oh, Kim's a forgiving person. Oh, Sandra's a forgiving person. Oh, this person's a forgiving person. So I can still act up and, carry on the web and carry on because they're so forgiving and this. So my advice again, young lady, is to forgive and move on and move away from that person. Like I said, the old saying about three strikes, I try not to let a person get to three strikes because then that's just my foolishness. And that's, again, what I've had to do. Like, I'll forgive the situation, but I'm just like, this is overwhelming for me. It's too much for me. This is not something I want in my life. I personally, this is my personal opinion. I am just irritated when a person continues to have poor behavior towards you. They do one thing, they do it again, and then they do it again and again and again. You're like, okay, since we're good friends and I care about you, this, and that, and you just keep allowing them to continue to do the same old stuff, and all you hear from them each time is sorry, I won't do it again. Sorry, working on myself. Sorry, this, and that, and that's fine and everything, because there's some people who just, every day it's a step by step for them, but you have to decide, young lady, if you want to continue to deal with that. Me personally, no, thank you. I am over it. I'm done with it. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I just don't have the space in my life to deal with anyone that continues to show poor behavior, especially when you've talked to them, like you were saying about the situation, like, because then it then, like I was saying in another video I made, then it becomes like, it doesn't become sincere. It just becomes, what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes hurtful, and then it's like your kindness is being taken for your weakness. Oh, I'm just gonna just go ahead and continue this poor behavior because we're cool and we're close, and sometimes it'll be family that does it, or a lover does it, or you know whatever, and they'll continue to do it because of that fact. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes even with family, you have to cut them off, love them from a distance, and say, "I give you for the situation, but I'm going to have to part my ways. I love you. I'll pray for you, but I'm going to have to keep it moving." And yes, move on, no contact. A girlfriend, that's what I've had to do. That's what I do, and that's what I've had to do. And after a while, like I said, it just becomes like, it's like, are you serious? Like, are you really sincere? Are you really trying to change? Are you really apologetic about what you've done? For me, that's the worst thing. Like you were saying, it's the worst thing when you gotta keep hearing, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I won't do it again. And we understand that people are not perfect, but I don't know. Like I said, for me, it just became not sincere anymore. And I just don't have the space in my life for that because I have children, daughters that I have to raise and I have to train up. And me personally, I don't have the time to be trying to, uh, um, I don't have the time, the skills, or the mindset to teach people, better behavior, a consistent better behavior. And it's really not even about having a degree. To me, it's a no brainer. And I say this in every one of my videos. If someone's being totally supportive to you, totally loving to you, totally understanding to you, then you should always be that way towards them. And no, I'm not trying to say anyone is perfect, but I never did understand the concept of mistreating someone in whatever way that was good and loving and supportive to you. I never did understand that. I could see if, you know, a person, you had a good rapport with the person, and then, you did something, um, and, the person's like, okay, then, you know, everything's okay, and then the person did something again, that. But when a person is continuously good to you, continuously supportive to you, just all around a great person to you, giving you good advice, and cheering you up, and doing all these things that a friend or a lover, a wife, husband, or whatever, a good cousin, sister, or whatever should be doing, and you don't stop and think that maybe the action or whatever would be hurtful or harmful to that person, I'm sorry, something wrong with you. And it's not to be distant or being whatever, whatever. It's just that I'm not a perfect person by far. But I do, for the most part, stop and think like, Ted, if I say something, this is really going to hurt that person's feelings. Let me think about how I'm going to word it to them, or how I'm going to say it, or whatever, whatever. Then there's just some people, no matter what you say to them, their feelings are always going to be hurt. And me personally, um, I can deal with people like that, but not deal with people like that. And young lady, what I mean by that is I can be cordial with people like that. Have to be honest with you, have a conversation from now and now. But I choose to be honest with you, just not to have that type of stuff in my spirit where I feel like, I can't say nothing, or I gotta dumb down, or wash it down to talk to a person. But yet that person feels as though they can, as they say, the old school people say, shoot straight from the hip at you. You understand what I'm saying, young lady? Um, so I don't know. I tell people, choose your own battles, but that's what I meant. I didn't mean that you had to forgive the person and continue to still deal with their poor behavior. Because, like I said, there ain't nothing worse than always hearing, I'm sorry, it won't happen again, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And every conversation is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Like I said, because then after a while, it's like, are you sorry? You're just, are you trying to work on that? Are you trying? And to be honest with you, Don't nobody got time for that. Not to be mean, but don't nobody got time for that. So, oh no. I, my final, because I don't want to get over 20 minutes, my final advice is forgive the situation, move on from it, and move on from the person. Because as you, like me, I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. And you have the right not to want to deal with that. A person that has repetitive bad behavior, a person that's always having to apologize for stuff. And, and it makes you feel bad because, there are some people that really mean well, that really, they're so used to their poor behavior that, it's like a formality to them. It's their sickness. It's their thing they do. And then when you call them out or, not call them out in a negative way, but say, hey, this made me feel that way. Or do you realize that you were coming off this, and you get the, of course, I'm the whole sorry thing. And you feel kind of bad because you're just like, I just try to always put myself in someone else's shoes. But I'm telling y'all, especially you, because you asked me, I, I can't, I can't, sweetheart. So my advice, forgive the situation, wholeheartedly forgive the situation, and move on from that person. Like I said, like you were saying, like you were telling me in the email and here, it's exhausting. It can become exhausting. And that person's feelings might hurt. Let me tell you something too. Sometimes you have to show people tough love. You know, show them, I've been here for you. I've been supportive to you. I've been helping you. Like in your situation, were helping this person. You paid a couple bills or whatever. I'm not going to get into everything that was told to me in the email. And the person just continues not to be sensitive to how they handle you. So my advice is just no, move on. I'm the same way. Can't do it. It's like I said, after a while, it just gets played out, right? And by teaching, showing tough love, and because sometimes people do need to be taught lessons. I've had to be taught lessons in my life that if I was going to continue to act like this in my friendships or my relationships or with family members or whatever, that these people weren't going to deal with me. Me too. I've had it, I've had to deal with that too. People have said to me, Kim, I don't like A, B, or C, whatever. And then, either me not knowing that I was continuously doing it or maybe even continuously doing it. See, that's one thing no one can ever say about me. I never negate the fact that I've never done anything to anybody, or I've never been a rude friend or a rude sister or a rude lover or whatever. I never negate that fact, or I never negate the fact either that I might have, had those behaviors too. And I say all the time, I'm far from being perfect. There's habits that people talk to me about that I talk about. And I say that, people should have those habits. I always admit that there's some point in my life where I've had those habits too. And because of those habits, I've also had to deal with the repercussions of that. That is just life, and that is how life goes. We're going through a tumultuous time right now in the universe. So don't nobody got time for nobody's poor behavior. And I'm sorry. And I didn't mean to, and this. We, again, sweetheart, forgive that situation and move on from that person. Like I said, again I've had that done to me. It is what it is, but I don't want to go with 20 minutes. I appreciate you emailing me and asking me. So my final advice on that situation is to forgive that situation, forgive that person, and move on from that person. Just let that person know, you know what, um, however you want to talk to that person, because I don't personally don't know that person's temperament. Sometimes with people, you gotta be like, look, it's been real. It's, we have a good friend. We had a good friendship. It's run its course. I'm moving on from the friendship. Or, again, according to the person's personality, you might want to be a little bit more sensitive. If you feel like that's what you need to do, if you feel like that's what's in your spirit, I just feel as though, first of all, I want to say I forgive you, but I think that it's better that, I move on from this friendship or whatever relationship or whatever it is. So that's my advice, sweetheart, to my 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 live, everyone from my Facebook and Periscope too, Periscope. I will talk to you guys later. I'm actually waiting for someone to um bring my baby some stuff. While practicing social distancing. But I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Thank you. Keep on reaching out to me. Keep on asking me stuff. Like I said, I don't know everything. I can just give you my perspective and what I've had to do. So again, forgive the situation, forgive the person, and move on from that person. I feel your pain, sweetheart. Have a good day. You all have a good day. I love you. Thank you for your support, and I'm out. Goodbye.